Hi. It's
Excellent.
so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I love your background. It's so very Chicago.
It's the benefits of having a green screen in the apartment.
You
So,
have one in your apartment. That's super cool. So
oh,
you're Stephanie.
I am
How do you say your last name?
Jasick.
Jasick. Okay,
Yes.
because I didn't want to attempt it and then butcher it and have
I,
you like already hate me. And thank you very much for being a contestant.
ooh,
No, thank you for being a guest on my Women Are People show.
excellent.
And so my concept is that I'm just going to interview women that do things to remind everyone that women are people.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. I love
I mean,
it.
that's it, right? I mean, just get to know anybody, whatever they do.
Yeah.
So we have a mutual friend. How I found you is we have a mutual friend, Brandy.
Yes,
And so do you still see her often?
I do. We're
Yeah.
actually planning on seeing each other. I actually started a week off from work today. So we're planning on either doing something outdoorsy or like go for a walk or just do something that's kind of, COVID compliant, if
Yes,
you will. So,
I love Brandy to pieces. She didn't want to do the show. I was like, okay, we'll pass it along, and that's when she told me about you. But I do, and she still has the blue hair, right?
she does, yes.
Okay, okay, so that's awesome. Okay, so Stephanie, I'm just gonna jump right in because you work at is it Binny's,
Yeah,
and you know a lot about whiskey.
I know a good amount, yes.
I What do people need to know about whiskey? I think, don't you think some people just walk in and they get whatever's on sale?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people that come into the store don't know a whole lot about it. I think a lot of people don't realize, that whiskey is this big giant category within the spirits industry.
Okay.
One of the questions you had sent me was like, what's the difference between bourbon and whiskey? Well,
Yeah, I
whiskey,
would just think it's the same thing. Is it
yeah,
where
whiskey's a bourbon.
okay.
Whiskey's a bourbon. So whiskey in general is a spirit that's distilled from fermented grain, and then aged in wooden barrels. So it's a general term for whiskey.
That's
Uh,
so neat.
yeah, bourbon's a type of whiskey, scotch is a type of whiskey.
It all is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it all is. Yeah, it's just different specifications for those different items.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no. And so what did you just I mean, because you work at a place where you're selling whiskey, it makes sense to have some knowledge on it. But is that something that you used to drink?
No, not at all.
No?
No, I typically, when I first started drinking, which was at 21, telling
That's
the truth,
right. And not a minute sooner.
not a minute sooner. I typically would go in my younger years for something that was a little bit sugary, didn't
Sure.
taste like alcohol.
Right.
But as I got older, my
Wine
palate matured.
coolers or something. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing wrong with those once in a while. But
Right.
anyway, but as I got older, my palate matured, and I was looking for something more that would please my palate.
Yeah.
And I've had tequila, I've had gin, and then whiskey, particularly bourbon, really struck my interest. And I kind of just went full on into that category a few years ago.
I love that. So what is the best brand? Like in your opinion, because I know everybody's going to have a different opinion.
Yeah, everyone has different opinions. People consider Pappy Van Winkle to be the best brand, but it's an item that is not readily available to everyday consumers, and the price point on it is not that great.
Oh, it's not.
Bottles are within the hundreds and sometimes sell on the
Oh,
secondary market for thousands or even $10,000s.
oh, wow. Okay.
So I particularly go for items that are not going to break the bank. So one of my favorite distilleries is Old Forester. Actually, the first distillery to bottle bourbon in the U.S. And
What is it called?
Old Forester.
Oh, okay. And where's that located?
They are in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Majority of distilleries are going to be within Kentucky, because a lot of people think that bourbon can only be made in Kentucky. It actually only needs to be made in the U.S. But
Oh.
a lot of
So, okay. So then what would they call, if I was over in the UK, what would you call it?
it depends on what type of whiskey you're getting,
Oh,
where it's from. So
So whiskey is a term that's very American.
Well, whiskey is just the umbrella term for
Okay.
everything,
Okay.
everything that's underneath.
Brandy told me you have the world's cutest cat. So you sent me some photos and I can't do it here. Every time I try to do the sharing thing, it doesn't work. So I have to do it in like post production, but I'll flash some photos of your beautiful cat. What is your cat's name?
His name is Tab Hunter.
It's a he. Okay.
Yeah.
Tab Hunter. Oh, very
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
And what makes him the greatest cat in the whole world other than being adorable?
Other than being adorable, I believe he is the best cat in the world because he picked me. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I am allergic to cats actually.
No,
Yeah.
do you have to take pills?
No, so actually, my partner and I, he has always had a cat.
Okay.
And when we started going out, I told him I was allergic. I really love all animals, but I'm allergic to cats. And within the past year, Purina released a food that actually blocks the allergen that cats produce so that you can actually live with a cat.
Because,
And
right, it's the poop or something, right? That people are allergic to or something.
there is a protein that they produce in their saliva, I believe, that has this allergen in it. And the food has an egg protein that blocks it.
Okay.
So he has been on the food since before we adopted him, and there is no allergies whatsoever. So
wow.
Yeah, so we
that
get to
is fantastic. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I have some friends that are allergic to cats. They could never come over to my house because I'm a cat lover too. I've always like I don't know about you, but you said the cat found you. It's not that I don't like dogs. I do. It's just they're a lot of work. And cats have always been the kind of animals that they just take care of themselves.
Yeah, they're very self-sufficient.
And that's what I was like, I don't, another thing to take care of at my age. No, thank you. So that's why I've always been a cat person. But my son is harping about getting a dog. So I was like, okay, well, pretty soon.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. WWE. This is worldwide wrestling. How do you I don't even know what it's called.
So WWE is a company. It's called World Wrestling Entertainment.
Okay. But it's professional wrestling.
It is. It's the largest professional wrestling, they call it entertainment company in the world.
Okay. I always just thought it was all called WWE. It's not.
No, there are all sorts of different organizations and companies that run professional wrestling.
And you love professional wrestling. It's like your thing, right?
Yeah, I've been watching for almost 30 years.
Okay, so who would be your favorite wrestlers? And why? And why?
First and foremost would probably be Bret Hart.
Okay, do you have something in your hand over there that you're going to show me?
No, I do not.
Oh, I thought you were going to hold up a picture of him. I'll look him up. What's his name?
Yeah.
Bret Hart?
Yes. So he was one of the first wrestlers that I found when I first started watching wrestling back in first grade.
First grade.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay.
Yeah. He just came off as genuine and honest, but also was super entertaining to watch in the ring. And I grew up, loving his work ethic, which, you typically don't hear about kids and work ethic going, thinking about that, I think. But as an adult, I'm like, he worked hard for what he wanted and what he did.
Yeah.
And it kind of stuck with me. So I kind of try to embody what he represented when he was wrestling into what I do now.
I can't wait to look him up and see if he's a little hottie. And so then obviously wrestling and professional wrestling has changed a lot over 30 years.
It has. It really has. When I first started, a lot of the wrestlers had particular gimmicks, which is a term for a character. And a lot of them were very cartoonish, not really realistic. If you look at it today, it's a lot of wrestlers are just being themselves or just heightened versions of themselves rather than, putting on face paint or donning, really extravagant wardrobes.
Yeah, it for a while there, I want to say in the late 80s to 90s, it felt like professional wrestling was like Cabbage Patch or Garbage Pail Kids, or you know what I'm saying? Like it had that sort of like feel to it.
Yeah, it was super, super popular at that point just because MTV was showing it.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper was involved.
Oh yeah. What was that
Um,
guy? Lou something?
yeah,
Lou.
Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember all of that. Yeah.
So it was super popular at that time. So that you had these like over the top characters that kind of, played off of that point in time. And once it started fading away, you started getting more realistic characters or just people just being themselves.
And so is there like an awards thing that would be similar to like the Super Bowl or the big game every year? Is there like a celebratory I'm the best wrestler of the year thing?
Well, they have so WWE has an event called WrestleMania,
That's
which
what it
they,
is.
they
Okay,
tout
yeah.
as their Super Bowl or World Series.
Have you
Um,
ever gone?
I have not. I know that our friend Brandy has, which I'm super jealous about. But I definitely would love to go, further down the road at this point. But I watch it every year.
That is so I could see Brandy doing that, going to that. Brandy's she's like me in the way that she doesn't want to sit around. You got to go. Be on the move. Go,
Yeah.
go, go.
She's
And
got a
so
plan for the entire day, and you go by every point of it until it's done.
yes, and I worked with her for a couple of years, and she was wonderful support to me. I annoyed the crap out of her at the time. I did though. But she was such a huge support system to me because she was working with me every day as up to the point where my stepdaughter died, and we
Oh,
were kind of going through the ups and downs that people do when you're dealing with someone who's battling addictions.
sure.
And I was losing my mind every day because if you've ever had to deal with anyone who's heavily addicted to things don't add up and you're constantly it's very traumatizing being but anyway, so she would be there every day to sort of like ground me and bring me back to like reality, and she's so good. And I would send her like just rambling text messages because I didn't like have anyone else I was like, I'm losing my mind. So she's so wonderful. I love her very, very much, and I miss her. And I'm going to throw a photo of her with a goat on her back because it's one of my favorite photos of her.
She does yoga. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, she has a goat on her back and
Yeah,
she's like smiling. And that's like one of my favorite photos of her. I adore
great.
her to pieces. Okay, so pansexual. This is something I'm so ignorant when it comes to this stuff. And I'm just uninformed.
No,
This, and I'm so very, very, very heterosexual, but I don't care what anyone else does
sure,
because I'm
yeah,
not sleeping with them.
yeah,
Like I used to work with I used to be on a radio morning show with a guy whose voice kind of had an upswing to it. So people were constantly asking me, is your host gay? Is your host gay? I said, I'm not sleeping with them. So what does it matter? Like, I don't know. You go ask it. But they would do sort of that, like, ask around. And I said, does it matter though? You're listening to the show. So
yeah,
does it matter if he is or isn't? And I'm not sleeping with him. So I don't ask him questions like that,
sure,
So when it comes to some of the terminology, my kids have to they have to update me on what
sure.
the terminology is. And so in so for someone who doesn't mean any disrespect, it's total ignorance on my part, but I'm okay with admitting that I'm ignorant on stuff. So explain to me pansexuality if you
So
can.
absolutely. So we all know like being heterosexual means that you're attracted to the opposite sex. And being homosexual means that you're attracted to the same sex.
Right.
With being pansexual, it's basically having an attraction or love to anyone of any sex or gender identity. So
In a sexual way or not?
either,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
Well, I kind of love everybody,
sure,
which has gotten me in trouble, which is, by the way, which has gotten me in a lot of trouble. Sometimes I give the wrong people the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
So does that qualify me as pansexual? I don't know. I don't know. So it means like having no boundaries or no, um, I, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
Oh,
attracted to anybody that I find attractive, no
oh,
matter how they, you know, see themselves.
identify. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Because then there's not just what body parts that you were born with that identify who you are. It's how you identify on the inside as well. And so
Correct.
I mean, I get it. I just, yeah, I'm very old fashioned in my
No.
thinking, but that's how but you understand when you're raised a particular way, they groom you to have these thoughts and these, and so you spend your whole life unlearning everything that you've been taught, which is a beautiful thing, actually. Okay, so oh, I was going to ask you about prom. Did you go to your prom?
I did.
You did?
I
And
did.
did you send me a photo, or you don't want to?
I did send you a photo.
You did. Okay, I'll have to check.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I can't wait to see that. And so was that a good night for you?
It was okay.
It was okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
went with my boyfriend.
Yeah,
So.
I went with my first boyfriend. We're no longer together for various reasons.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
Do you remember what the prom theme was?
Make It Last Forever.
Make It Last Forever. Which song was that?
I have no idea. I don't think it was a song.
Forever.
Yeah.
So
it didn't.
One night to last forever. No, nothing does. Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Da, da, da. I think that's pretty much all I was going to ask, right? You have any jokes or songs you want to do? No, she's like, no, lady, you're weird. JoAnn, you're weird. Yes, I am. Okay, well, great. And I'm going to put a bunch of photos of your cats. And okay, words to live by. Do you have any? Because I like to go around, as a woman, you've been subjected to a lot of mansplaining.
Sure.
Well, I have something that I do to combat mansplaining. It's called JoAnn-splaining. And then I go around and I pontificate as if I know things that I don't know.
Sure.
Because obviously we don't know everything. And I'm comfortable with admitting that I don't know everything, but you know how guys aren't always comfortable with that.
Sure.
And so I do a lot of JoAnn-splaining. So what would be Stephanie-splaining?
I think what I tell myself every day, no matter if I'm in a bad mood or having a hard day in general.
Yeah.
No day but today.
Oh, instead of one day at a time, no day but today.
Yeah.
That's a great way to bring the focus back. Yeah. You're right. That's really good. Oh, I like that. Thank you for sharing that. Stephanie-splaining.
Stephanie-splaining, yes. No day but today.
No day but today.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I'm going to put this together. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll put this together and I'll post it and I'll send you a link. And thank you for being a guest on my show. Women Are People. It's all in the title right there. Women Are People.
Thank you, JoAnn. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye, Stephanie. Thank you. Bye.